Alrighty. Hello, y'all. It's a little bit late, but we're live. Today, I'm going to be putting on some background music. I found this really great mix. There's a channel called LW that has been posting some great tracks or mixes. They're all like, are you kidding me? Firefox crashed. Oh, don't do one of these. I don't want to have another day where streams go bad and wrong because Firefox is super unstable. I guess for some reason on Linux. I don't know. 1 second, guys, as I get back to my setup. Hey, what's going on, Kate? Strong start? Yeah, we're starting strong, but hopefully, I wish we could start strong. But, it's not a stream without some weird technical issue, but we're back. And there is... Yeah, let me find it. We're going to listen to a mix from LW. I love their videos now because they're all they have odd titles. So 1 second, let me just get everything set up before we get started today. I've never had Firefox issues in Linux. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's just my machine then. I don't know. There's been so much issues with Firefox for some reason. But yeah, LW. A lot of great mixes. And the videos either don't have they don't have a title at all, or they have like 64 encoding, or like this one here. It's great. So I like their taste in music. So we're gonna put this on in the background, and we're just gonna chill. Oh no. Why are you... Oh my goodness. Okay, 1 second. Let me do something real quick. I have to do something before we actually get into the productive side of things. So yeah, here we go. Gonna put on the mix, and today we're just gonna work on the game. And just get closer to done. It's kind of weighing on me how long this game has taken to complete. The more I work on this game, the greater the opportunity cost of other things I could be doing is. But I can't quit because I think it's important for this to get done. Doesn't matter if it's popular or not. It's probably not going to be. Doesn't matter if, it doesn't matter how it's received at all. People can hate it. What's important is that I need to finish something. Something that's non-trivial, right? And we're getting there. And it hasn't been that long, but it's much longer than I would have liked for this type of game. But we're getting there. Unity game, yeah. Unity game, Kate. I've been thinking and dreaming about the other game though, and I have so many ideas. I have so many notes. It's that's partially what the whole opportunity cost thing is, because I have so many thoughts for the engine, story, characters. I have been working on music for that game. I'm thinking it's gonna be for that game. Mechanics and it's a new, fun, and exciting thing, but if I can't see to completion something like this game, which, granted, is not as easy as I would have thought before, we kind of push scope like crazy, but if I can't finish this, then it's kind of, feels irresponsible to just jump into another project. This is a skill set, right? Finishing things is its own skill. So we're gonna see it through, man. Oh my goodness, what happened there? Why is it growing? But yeah, so we have that thing working. I have this engine, this invisible button thing. I had a coworker test it out, and she gave some good notes. We also have the board, the high score board. So if I can go to high scores, you'll see it's written in my custom font we did on Memorial Day. So it looks good. It works. It looks like actual writing on the board, but still kind of pixel arty. And there's some bugs we need to address about it, but we're getting there. Things are resembling the final game more and more. And I'm excited, man. I can see it. What's going on, Syndicate? The key is to make sure it's perfect so that it will take infinitely long to complete, or no, wait, the opposite of that. Also, hey guys, how's y'all's evenings going? It's going great, Syndicate. I had a great, interesting day at work myself, and yeah, I just couldn't really go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep without doing some more work on this, and yeah, I also had I had a struggle. I had a fight to not Elvis myself on the toilet today. I haven't had spicy food in a while. I used to be so into spicy food, but today at work, I thought, why not just get some spicy chicken? Why not? What can go wrong, right? After that, I went to the gym, did some squats, some barbell squats, just to get back into it. And then 2 hours later, I'm just thinking to myself, man, is this how Elvis felt? Anyways. But yeah. I need to make the buttons more obvious. I noticed when testing that the buttons weren't obvious, nor was the functionality on these toggles. So I think I might move this icon onto the actual physical button. I also want to add some lights to the buttons so it's very clear, hey, this is an interactable thing. I might even add like an outline or something to really emphasize, hey, this is interactable. There's also kind of like wasted space all over this console. It feels a little too empty. And of course, we need to make more engine types, more holes. I think I've started at the very extremes of the spectrum of the fastest engine and then the slowest engine, and now we need to populate things in between, as well as the upgrade system for chips. Yeah. But yeah, I've also have like an idle just boost to happen, so without any input the player is always moving forward. I don't know why it's being weird right now. I need to fix that. And then we also have aiming or movement locked to the y-axis, because that's actually really just what's relevant. Let me catch up in chat real quick. Go okay, lots of SQL and data work on my end. Sounds like a lot of fun. Hence a Restless working tonight. Yeah, we're restlessly working tonight. I actually made ghost pepper curry last night. It was less the pleasant the next day. Yeah, 100%. Some ghost pepper sauce. Oh my goodness. That's nutty. That is absolutely nutty. Yeah, I wouldn't play around with that. I used to have more of a tolerance for spice. 1 second. Yeah, I used to have a greater tolerance for spice, and I guess I've taken a long break from it, and I can't handle it anymore. I can't hang. It's not my cup of tea, I guess. It's tragic because I like it. it's something special. It's just my body can't cast the checks. It can't cast the checks my mouth writes. I think that's the lesson I'm learning. Okay. So you have this whole game over thing. I'm gonna have this zoom in. I'm gonna make this background icon. I'm gonna start splitting this out too. I don't know what's happening with. So there's a few things we need to. Why is my keyboard not working? Don't do this to me. I don't need this. I can't. I can deal with a lot of things. Not my keyboard not working. I cannot deal with that. Oh no. Don't do this to me. What's happening? What's causing this? This happens like once in a while. Very rarely. Where like no matter what keyboard I plug into my PC, it just doesn't work. Are you kidding me? Dude, I just want to work, man. Come on. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? My keyboard just doesn't. My system's not even recognizing it. This happens once in a while, but it just requires a reboot, which is stupid. I don't know why it does that or requires that. Oh, this is actually. That's not acceptable at all. This is. Are you kidding me? Hello, what's going on 1080? It's a sign the universe wants you to work on a new game. Well, I can't work on any game. I can't work on any game with my keyboard like this. Like, my operating system won't let me. Or I don't think it's operating systems. I don't know whose fault it is. But I'm not allowed to. Nothing's recognizing it. No input. Happens on Linux systems. Pretty much all you can do now is reboot. Does anyone know why that happens? You looked like you're dressed to purge your get over breakups at a gym. Yeah, this is the attire. The hoodie and look, I just want to be comfy, cozy in my bed, man. Cozy long time, man. Yeah, it's been a minute, man. It's good to see you, Damien. Okay, are we gonna have to do a reboot? This sucks. This actually sucks. How is this? And I can plug in another keyboard and it doesn't work. So it's not like oh, just unplug it and plug it back in, or try a different port or whatever. It's no. Like I have to snuff out my computer as well. Like I have to just hard press the power button, kill it when this happens. Let me have some hope. Let me try plugging in my IBM keyboard and see if that helps at all before I do the killer thing. Once I put this on my desk, I'm not gonna unplug it. So we're gonna be using this keyboard for tonight. Okay. Maybe not, I don't know. We'll have to do some mouse stuff. Yep. We're still at the same place. Yay! The battleship is ready. Yeah, the battleship is ready. Perfect time to do the guy throwing the keyboard and keyboard, the computer and keyboard in the bin meme. Yeah. This is where we get just really angry. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back after we have a quick reboot. I'll see you guys in a second, though. One sec. Ready? Okay. I believe we're live. Let me know if you guys see me live. Also, let me turn on the camera, shall we? Kind of important. And let's move this to the appropriate channels. I believe we are live, if I am to be mistaken. What's going on? The battleship train. It was disabled. Yeah, the battleship was sunk. Is Ubuntu OS? I'm using Ubuntu. Yeah, we're using Ubuntu. Not gonna lie, I don't think, if I was an Arch, I don't think this would be happening. I'm just saying. Arch wouldn't do this. Also, what's going on, 20? Welcome back, 1080p. We're so back. Also, let's do the ever important thing. I should really just disable PyCom on startup. I don't know why I keep starting up PyCom. I use Arch, by the way. Okay, can you testify as to ever having this happen to you on Arch? I'm legitimately. I think I'm gonna switch. I think I'm legit gonna switch repos or not repos, distributions, distros. What's going on, Braha? Come on, what's up? What's going on, Braha? Glad to have you here, man. Sorry we had to do a little reboot, but we're back in it. Oh, man. I say that about PyCom every day when I see the smallest screen. Yep. Well, the screen tears don't bother me. PyCom does some weird stuff. Okay, we have like an option here. I have the Battleship keyboard out. And usually I reserve this for when I'm working on C projects. You know? I reserve this keyboard for when I'm doing C. Not exclusively, but usually I like doing it. And Unity's already closed out. Rider's closed out. I don't know, man. I feel kind of tempted to do some stuff. Let me first of all, let me just get reacquainted with this keyboard. I think we're gonna do some monkey type, just one round of monkey type, alright? Just so I can get used to this, because split key is different. The one I have is column aligned as well, so it's different. It's a different kind of layout for your fingers, so I have to kind of grind a little bit sometimes. Yeah, look at that, 68. That's good enough. I think we're good enough to start working. Called it, yeah. What's PyCom 1080p? PyCom is a compositor I'm using on Linux. Basically, it adds nice, fun transparency effects to your windows. So right now, if I were to switch to PyCom, if I were to start it up right now, you would have this nice little transparency, and I can do some more stuff to really accentuate it. Right now it's not that fancy, but I think if I were to modify like what is it? I haven't done this in a while. Yep. If I were to modify the PyCom config, I can do things like add blur to it so that... Oh, right, it doesn't do that. That's a writer thing. So I can change it, and now you're going to see this kind of blur effect to the background. It's not going to be perfectly clear, and I can even make it more strong. So now the background's super duper blurry, and things feel kind of like glass. And it's more apparent if you have like borders to your stuff. It was cool the first time around, but then when you're actually doing stuff and you want to have actual visibility like on a separate windows or whatnot, it's kind of distracting. And you can configure your active windows opacity versus inactive windows and whatever, but then it kind of defeats the point of it, right? So it's cool in principle, but I find myself just killing all PyCom and just keeping it simple, because who wants to deal with all that, right? Yeah, I'm using i3 Toma. I'm using i3, good old-fashioned classic i3. I use Arch, by the way. I've never had this happen on Ubuntu either, to be fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's happened quite a few times on Ubuntu, at least for me. So, I don't know what to say. Okay. We're not going to commit to doing anything yet. Let me just go to my project real quick. I did make a repo for it, so I think I made it public as well. So if you guys want to take a look, you can take a look at it. I'm not too what did I call the ASCII quest, I think? Where did we leave out last time? Oh yeah, right. So we're able to render the character. I'm wondering how this is gonna look like in an actual HD like circumstance, because like this seems a 32 by 32 sprite takes up the entire screen, so it severely limits what we can draw onto. Severely limits what we can draw to our terminal. So any hopes of doing fancy pixel art, unless I like make this extra small, I can do something. I can modify my West term. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure I have a West term config somewhere here. Don't you dare lie to me. I'm not crazy. That's like my I have to repeat to myself constantly, I'm not crazy. Yes, there's a dot West term. That's why it is. That's what it is. So we can do oh, look at that. Font sizes. I can modify it. And now it's going to be unreadable for me. And it's smaller. Still kind of, we have that stretching issue we have to deal with as well. That's another element we have to compensate for. I also want to try a few things. I was thinking about at least for ease of testing, I was thinking about having the C file actually modify my Western file on my machine to switch the terminal to a small small mode, small font size. There's some other things though I was thinking about. 1 second. ASCII gradient char. I also wanted to try this, not cars. Char. There's gotta be, I know there's like some characters that are like blocks. And then I know they have like different gradient ones too. I can't find it here. Maybe that's also cheating, but I just want to try it out too. Just to see how it looks. See where it takes us. But yeah, I'm not the only one. There's a SQL. Wait, what? Why is that? Okay, I'm just not gonna. Yeah, someone posted this string, but it doesn't have the custom. It doesn't have that gradient character in it. It's pretty much needed for Super Swag. Yeah, that's for Super Swag. My blur never works. Really, bruh? That's odd. Gonna sleep. Probably say goodnight to Kate and 1080 free. Yeah, I will, Syndicate. Yeah, Syndicate says goodnight, 1080 and Kate. Just a FYI. I'll be back soon if you're still alive. All good, man. All good, dude. I'm just me messing around a little bit tonight. Also, let me put on the music. That was kind of important for the vibe that I want to be in, that I wish to pursue. 1 second. Nope, not gradient tool. Oh, these are like the characters I'm looking for. How does that translate to here? Here's our string. It almost feels like I have to, like, if I want to correct for the size issues, I'd have to like print these twice, it would seem. Also, I think one thing that's definitely on the agenda is going to be, when I come back to this, is I want to make my own custom string, not class, struct. Like and then make a cozy utils thing, because the C string processing stuff is kind of jank. And I think I want to have my own set of utility functions for strings and structures to work with. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. All right, I was gonna do the song thing, right? Here we. Nope, that's the poll. Where did I have? Oh, there we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So we build. Ooh. Font problem. So this is not going to work out. My font doesn't support that. Okay, so we can't rely upon that because that's like that's apparently font specific. So that dream is dead. At least for now. There's probably a way to work around it. We'll use this for now though. And instead of going back and forth, I'm just gonna there we go. Okay, we're back to here. So I wonder how that would look if we were to do that transformation we discussed. You can just use escape codes. For what specifically though? To color the background? Oh, that's for coloring. That's for coloring. In fact, that's one of the other things I want to do is because the ANSI escape codes for colors, they have a thing that resembles loots, and I actually want to see how they ascribe the color values to it. Because if it depending on how they do it, it might be a simple mapping for like this RGB values to that, and then we can color it. But still, like not. I still want to have like that gradients of colors though. Like this is cool. I like that. I don't know why it doesn't work. I thought that would be something more. I guess my font specifically I'm using doesn't have that support or doesn't have it in it, but I feel it's not too uncommon. Sorry. ANSI colors. Yep. There's like a table or something that has like the colors there. Come on, get there, get there. No, that's not it. Here we go. Yeah, these guys look like loots. And it seems like it's like that where it's yeah, that's the red axis. Red, blue, and you see the combinatorics of that, and then Y is the green value. So these slices are the increments of green as it approaches more peak green. And they have grayscale colors too. That's actually cool to know about as well. So yeah, there's I need to think about I want to go about doing this. One second. Might lower this down a little bit. It seems a little loud for me. At least for me personally. Maybe it's not that loud. But yeah. There's sequential starting from 16. Okay. So what I could do is, because it's almost like mapping a 3D array into a single array. Or like instead of actually allocating a 2D array, you instead just have one large array that contains the entire volume of that 3D array. And you can like index into it by multiplying X, Y, and Z to get the coordinates. It's like what we're doing for our model in the Fight and Flight game. For our model buffer. So we can do that same idea here. And it seems like it should be kind of straightforward, actually, because it's just counting from 16. Is it consecutive? No, it's not consecutive. It breaks up here. Okay. Interesting. It seems like a deterministic thing, though. So there's a way to make a mapping for this. There's a way I can just take in the RGB values and then like compute the color code for it from here. It has issued 40 plus years. Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking about doing a space with ANSI color. Oh, that's clever, Kate. I didn't even think about using space as something you can just color. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I wanted to have like something that still resembled characters, but honestly, I'm totally down for that. Like the idea I was thinking was about using a combination of these characters based off of the absolute value or the magnitude of the color vector, and then also coloring it based off of whatever the value was here. That's off the table, but this is on the table still. So what do we do here? It's iterating from... Okay, let's think about this. Because really, I'm going to have a function that's going to return an int, and it's going to take in... So this is what we're working with. This is our starting value here. And I know we're working with an offset of 16. So our first element is going to be 16. And that we know for a fact. So it seems like the R component is going to be an increment of 1. So it seems like our final value is just going to be, at some level it's going to be R plus, and then the increments for greens are going to be, is it consistent? Is it just... Yeah, it seems like it's just 6. Okay. I had a bug today at work where I didn't realize, like, when you do G, like for example, G plus, or G times 6 mod some number, that it wasn't automatically grouping these together. The integral promotion wasn't working the way I expected it to. And it took me a little while to figure that out. I was like, oh wait, I need to put a parentheses for that, don't I? And then, yeah, oh, I'm dumb. This is the blue, not red. Whoopsie, blue. So red is gonna be increment of like, what, 6 as well? No, I'm dumb. It's oh my god. Why am I feel like I'm being put on the spot now to do some basic algebra. Oh brother. Okay. So there's a 40 difference. But then there's oh brother. This is embarrassing, man. Gosh, okay, come on, dude. You can do this. So there's 4, that'll get you to 20, right? Cool. And then plus, okay, it's gonna be the difference of like 6 right there, but whatever. 4 gets us to 20, and then 30, and then 40, and then 50. So that's 34 right now. And plus 2, it's going to be 36. Beautiful. I'm proud of me. I think I'm hoping right. Is that going to be times 36? Yeah. Is this okay? So let's just do simple tests here, right? And let's reorder this based off of the actual component orders. That makes sense to me. Okay. Okay. So we have, let's see what we would get based off our expected values. What is the base of this as well? That's another thing I need to consider. Because what's the increment range? Is it 5s? Or is it actually 6? It's 6. So it's not gonna be we have to remap the input values of RGB to instead go from 0 to 1 to instead 0 to 6. Or I guess 0 to 5. Actually, it would be 1 to 6 because we're starting with the offset of 15, so we need to have an initial plus, right? Unless I just set the offset to 16 and we keep it 0 inclusive. So let's say we have, I don't know, what are our dummy values here? R equals, let's say, I don't know. Oh, we also have to increment it, right? They all have to have that offset applied to them, don't they? So let's do this. We're gonna have a distinction between in R versus our actual remapped R. Do these all? I think they all have to. Have this offset applied if I'm not mistaken. Oh, but you know what? It has to happen after the fact, doesn't it? I feel like I'm doing this wrong, dude. Due to just making an option, you can do a posterize function that finds the closest color in the list to the closest color. Just like create a struct array with the RGB color and the value, like a lookup table. Is that what you're saying to do? Like for a given RGB value, just have a table that has the value there already. I mean, honestly, it's not that much values. I mean, it is 216, but at the same time, like, why calculate it every single time when we could just cache it, right? Oh, brother. Yeah, I feel like mathing this is gonna be... Do they have a thing here already? Is this in Python? It looks like Python. It smells of Python. Yeah, it's iterating by ranges of 6. Well, I guess you can manually calculate the table too. Oh my goodness, was I... They have the formula there. Was I right? Oh brother. I feel like I was right. I was so right, dude. So right. Oh my goodness. My genius. Okay, I was wrong here though. I was overcomplicating it. You just literally apply an offset onto the final result. We still have to do the remap thing though. Because we're assuming a normalized RGB input. Which actually, if they're normalized, we shouldn't be using floats, should we? We should be using, yeah, we shouldn't be using ints, we should be using floats. But hey, don't let this detract from the fact that your boy is a genius. I mean, I can't calculate simple elementary school math. I struggle with that a little bit. We struggle a little bit, but hey, we got there, okay? Hey, we got the right number too, 36. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah, let's make this very explicit. Mama, I'm a genius. Okay. So I'm assuming this is correct. So now it's a matter of actually coloring this. And I thought I had something in my utilities for doing anti-color code stuff. I may be wrong, but I could have sworn we had something here for just such occasions. Clear screen, enable cursor, disable cursor. Oh, I guess we don't. I guess I don't have it. Hey, Chimera. It's good to see you here. A lookup function is more efficient. It probably is more efficient, Kate. I mean, let's see. For right now, this just gets the job done. I think this would have made more sense if it was like floating point value ranges, but the fact that it's discrete values makes the lookup table make more sense in this case. If it was far more arbitrary, then depending on how much precision you want, there'd be a case to just calculate it, but I think here it just makes sense to have the table at some point. Hey, Miss Syndicate? Yeah, she was on earlier, Chimera. Also, thank you. I always appreciate it. Yes, Syndicate was on earlier, but she had to leave to go to sleep. Apparently people need to sleep. Couldn't be me. I would never. Just don't ask me what I do after the streams. Alright, what's the escape code for this? What is the escape code? I need to know the escape code. Also, this isn't even code white. It doesn't. So we still have to handle like some specific cases, don't we? Like known colors. Yeah. I'm also realizing we're dealing with an unsigned char. Like for the colors, like that's the native value types we're dealing with here. Oh, I guess we do convert it to floats though, don't we? Oh no, we can work with that range. Maybe I need to have like a... I need to think how we're going to deal with this. But yeah, in the cases of like maximum green, maximum red, and maximum blue, what do you get? This seems odd. That's not the color I would expect. So maybe this is not working the way I'd expect it to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll deal with it. Let's just try seeing what this result looks like, and let me find the actual code to make the ANSI color stuff happen. I could have sworn we did it in our code base at some point, but what they have error. There's some code examples for this as well. Phone died. What happened? Sleep is for the weak. Truly a horde format, in my opinion. What, the color encoding format, or ANSI, or just everything? Where did I find this? Okay. 30 to 37 set foreground color. Wait, what? Next arguments are 5 or 2. What? What is this? That doesn't look like... This is what I'm looking for here. So, wait, so do they have a cookie? Do they have a thing just for taking an RGB value as well directly? And I didn't have to do this whole thing? That's for background. I could disable proportional spacing. Ooh. I would like that for rendering things in a very explicit way. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful day to be alive. Okay, how am I gonna do this though? How does one do this? 49. I haven't done this in a while, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, right. This keyboard is weird. Yeah. Or maybe I just have the keys wrong or something. I don't know. Yeah, I need to figure this out. I need to find a reference for this. Probably I've done it before. Then there's like a table where you do that. It starts with E and then. Okay, dash 033 open. What is this for though? I know after the brackets some magic happens. Let's just check this out. Oh, you know what? Here we go. What do you got for me, Stack Overflow? We're gonna be the one user who visits you today. Yeah, so it's like 033 open bracket and then whatever, right? Cool. So it seems like we can just chuck this syntax we had here. The 2 or semicolon R semicolon G semicolon B. Does it have to be that explicit, or do you input the values you want? Either way, it's code 39 or 38. Is that a character that has to be just... Do I have to prepend this on a per character beta? Or do I just do it once? And we're just good to go. It was 38. And then... That doesn't seem right. Let's do this and then... How do I do this? Let me catch up in chat real quick, my bad. I've not looked at the whole protocol, so I don't know. It's probably background color if you're doing space. Oh, that's true. Good call. Background color. Well, actually, let's just start with the... We're using normal characters first, so we'll start with there. And then go from that. Ooh, do I need to insert... If we're going to do this programmatic... How do we have to pass in the values? Do you do just %D for whatever value we're passing in? Is it still going to use a 0 to 6 value? So many questions. So many questions. You have the 4 big colors. Oh my goodness. 6x6 cube, that's what we're dealing with right there. Oh, they even have a full RGB spectrum thing. Oh, there we go. So we were doing it right. And then you just input the value. Oh, and does it work with unsigned chars too? So it's a 0 to 2255 value range. Oh, that makes things even better, dude. So can I just import an unsigned char? And that kind of just makes this whole thing a moot point. And then what do we do here? I'm assuming we just replace this with our values, right? So percent D, or I guess C. I don't know. Yeah, because we have the values here, so we can just do compiles, but nothing. Oh, I did the Control C thing instead of actually closing it out properly. This is going to cause some bad things to happen at some point. Oh, what time is it over there? It is currently 12:49 right now. 12:49 in the good old US of A within Central Time. Yeah. That's crazy though. We have people from all over the world, so time is very odd. Some people it's like morning for them. And then for me it's like you're going to bed right now. I'm gonna get tired of typing an unsigned char. I think I might make a define for that. Like a I don't know, a U8 define for unsigned char. That's probably terrible though, because it's not actually. There's some. Yeah, I mean, that should be correct in most cases, but yeah, I wonder if to do. Am I doing this right? We're calling set color here. Here from Poland. Oh my goodness. So it's like what? Getting closer to it's already well in the morning for you then, right? Set RGB. Oh, because you draw buffer at one shot. Interesting. So it's almost like for every single do we have to do a thing where like instead of drawing one character, oh my goodness, you'd have to make like each entry like a like its own string. Because even though we're drawing only one character to the screen, behind the scenes there's all this ANSI escape character stuff that we have to do right now. Behind oh my goodness. Well, that's kind of terrible. Oh, yep, and we're seeing this. No, I'm not seeing the, I'm not seeing what I want to see, though. Yeah, 38. And 48, right? It prints out a bunch of stuff, but not quite what I'm looking for. Would I have to do a dash? Because I'm pretty sure this works, right? They had a bunch of different, like... That's Python. They have like a C++ thing. Example somewhere. I mean, I kind of kicking myself in the back right now because I know I did this before, and I've just I either deleted the code or it's somewhere else I'm not familiar with or I forgot about. It's not in these terminal utilities though. So it's either in the buffer or it's in utilities. But this has a bunch of float string stuff, directory stuff. So that's not it. So if it's not there, is it in buffer somewhere? In some dark corners or something? Nothing's sticking out, obviously. So far as I scroll through. It would be like a printf thing. Yeah, as for drawing the buffer, it's the only place that has it. So yeah, this has got to be the place where we do this stuff. I'm not going to go through my Git history and find out where exactly I did this. So we're just going to have to discover this land once again. Why does it end with M? Oh, and then text afterwards. Oh. Also, am I using semicolons for everything here? I hope I am. Also, these should be one statement I'm come to understand. But hey, we're learning today, right? Not seeing colors. Very tragic. What is this? That's the disable proportional stuff. Yeah, if this doesn't work the way I expected, though, we're probably going to be in for a problem. In fact, we are in for a problem because we're treating this like a buffer. Where we're writing to like a buffer of chars, and then we draw them all at once. And that's not going to fly for this kind of color thing we're doing here. Especially a fixed buffer. Going to bed soon. It's all good, Jackson. I like your channel. Thank you, man. 1052. Let's go, dude. Make it say hello. Well, I can make it say to draw a picture. Like it's drawing this image text file. But I want to get colors working. 38. Let's see here. Oh, is it curly brackets? It should be just normal brackets. Is it curly brackets? Okay, this is that... Oh my goodness. See, working on a CRT isn't always what it's cracked up to be. Sometimes curly brackets look like regular brackets and vice versa. Still not seeing colors though. But perhaps that's just from what I'm supplying it. So let's make it green. Or red. Okay, close it out. Not seeing that. What other oddities are going on here? So we're using the square bracket. That's kind of important. 033. How come they're ending with an M? Also, I think I have to be working within their color range, actually. So I guess I do have to... Do I? No, because that value's like... Let's just experiment. In fact, I don't know why I'm doing the whole loop. Isn't add the M? Ah, okay, M. Didn't realize I need M. Where's the M happen at? It's just directly no semicolon. Dude, ANSY's escape codes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dude. Okay, he's doing something now. It's doing something. I'm happy so far. This is better than what we had before. Let's ascertain the color range that it is working in. Knob still black. Ah, it's working though. It's red now. Okay, perfect. So it's I'm assuming it's 255 color range then. Okay. This would require some significant re-architecting to make this work. The way I'd want it to. Because this is applying it to whatever is happening after, right? Like command reset. All good, all good. Thank you, though. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. That's actually, you helped out. You came in super clutch. And now I'm left with a critical thing to ponder. So we have a thing to get the correct values and everything, right? And that's cool. We already looked at we had the function implemented the way the wiki kind of outlined, although in a different table, in a different way. The question is, are we gonna actually stick to having a fixed buffer that we're writing to, or setting the values on, and then just, or do we want to actually have this print every single individual character, but with the correct color code? That is what we're facing right now. I mean, I can try both alternatives and see how it pans out. I think I might want to modify our set color function a little bit, though, because for our purposes, what's going on, Connor? And what's going on, K9? How are we doing? Refer to the big table. The RGB values have to compute to 0255 is its ANSI codes. Gotcha. Oh, good. What game is it? I work on the C game today. I was gonna work on Fight and Flight, but honestly, like, the things that are left in that game are very not as interesting and much more just iteration. So I think tonight we're going to treat ourselves and work on the ASCII game engine. So right now we're trying to figure out how we're going to have color render in the game. And then this is probably the thing that could have the biggest bearing on how we architect things. Because I had an idea in mind built around the fixed buffer, but this could significantly change things. Oop, wrong thing. So let's go to our main C, and we're gonna do the thing we talked about. So no more drawing a buffer. Who would want to do that? No, sirree. We're gonna just straight up just draw to the terminal. Has 3 values, should be only 1 value. But Tinu? So you can compute the 1 value But apparently the modern, they have a new thing where it actually supports just passing the values directly. So like, I'm using this, here we go, 38, which takes into RGB values. But we're looking at the other thing where we had the loots that actually had, yeah, these, where there's an explicit index per RGB thing, and then we made a whole function for converting our RGB values to this. But apparently there's an escape code that just takes in the color values components, and we don't have to actually look up the or calculate the loot value from it, which is kind of interesting, at least to my understanding so far. So we're not going to do buffer draw character, and we're not going to draw the buffer. Instead, we're going to do our printf, or actually our set color. Print color car. Char final. See how this works. Oh my goodness. And then in the outer loop, this is gonna be terrible. I remember last time sequential printing, it just sucked. And I'm imagining it's gonna suck as well today, so we might have to end up just doing a different thing altogether, but there's gotta be a way to make this happen. I believe it. Ooh. Undefined, set color. What are we calling set color? Oh. And down here too, right? It just works, dude. It just works. It actually is not bad. I thought printing it was gonna be each individual character is gonna be bad, but it's not. It's not. Kind of changes some stuff though. Actually, no. The fundamental idea is still the same. We're still going to do a ray intersection test against geometry. We're still going to do that. We're still going to use the cameras. We're still going to have the... It's just that instead of modifying a buffer, we can just compute that directly. And just print it once we get it. Actually, no. I think we're still going to... I think we're going to have a buffer, but it's going to be... I don't know, or maybe yeah. I think we're still gonna have a buffer, and we're just gonna have the final print happen like this sequentially. Yeah, I think the way we had things designed is actually gonna be fine. Hey, what's going on, Connor? Just finished writing the core rulebook to my TT RPG. Let's go, dude. Pretty damn excited. I'm glad to hear that, man. Happy to spend the rest of my night with the cozy fam. Of course, brother. I appreciate it, man. And it sounds exciting that your TCG is coming, your tabletop TCG is coming together nicely, dude. And it feels nice to start working on something that isn't this project. We're gonna get it done. It's getting done. I'm probably gonna finish it the rest off stream because like all the interesting part of the game is already implemented. So it's just a matter of just doing the housekeeping work. Testing and some minor iteration stuff before just throwing it out there. I missed the print. Yeah, here you go, Kate. And it just works. I'm actually super happy about that. And we're kind of the best of both worlds because we're using like the whole intensity thing for selecting different char characters, but we also have color as well, so that makes me very happy. So we can actually start, I think we can start thinking about, because it is all in the simple main function, but we started actually working on some architecture last time, I recall. And one of the core things we were doing was like having this idea of like a so for this game, like we had this, a lot of game engines, they have this separation between a transform and a collider and a renderer. But for this game, that's not really quite how I want to design it. And I think I'm going to have these things be a bit more coupled, because for this type of game, I think it makes more sense to think about it that way and treat it that way. Let me look at this. Let's see if it's correct. Yeah, the ray test. The transform has a pointer to render index ID. It gets a fragment function. No, that's an old idea. I think we have a more up-to-date idea somewhere else. Yeah, like a collider. So you could pass in a pointer to... Yeah, there's some... I should have documented this in the actual structs themselves. Yeah, we have like just one fundamental thing. There's a bunch of things we're gonna have to do though, because we have to have like this whole texture directory I want to have. I think that's gonna be like a manually set thing, which is not crazy. To fit the rows or use front, back color, and split ASCII characters for some interesting effects. Oh, that reminds me. I want to do, because you see how it's like squished in the actual print. There was a key code for having this be evenly spaced, if I can find it. Let me go up. It was like disable proportional spacing. Is that what I'm thinking of? There's a thing called like disable. Yeah, proportional spacing 50. So let me try that as well while we're at it. Your buffer. So I can just do 50. That looks the same. The text mode to 50 rows. And split ASCII characters for some interesting effects. Split ASCII characters. I'm wondering what you mean by that. Like, is that a way to get a higher resolution? What's a 50 character row? Do you type 55? Did I type 55? I typed 50. Not overlined. Did I type 55? I did type 55. Whoopsie. Good catch. I typed 50. Or 55 instead of 50. That doesn't look right. Disable proportional spacing. That's what we did here. Let me do that before M. I did the same thing, 55. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm 55. Is it still proportionally spacing stuff? Still kind of looks like it, honestly. Oof, the char. It's really cool. Thank you, Mr. Void. Is there a character block on the bottom half? If you use that, you can set the foreground color if you use that and turn each car into a pair of vertical stacked pixels. Oh, really? That's crazy, dude. To a pair of vertically stacked pixels. So it gives you double resolution on the vertical. Interesting. That'd be cool for getting additional information from like the ray test stuff. Huh. Or dude, imagine using that for AA. Like, imagine implementing, like, an MSAA effect for this. That'd be crazy. Yeah, I'm not sure that's what I'm looking for, or if it's doing what I expect it to do. Let's find anything that mentions space or width. Single width line. Double width line. No. Backspace. Yeah, nothing. I think we've gone through all space usage here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any. Yeah, and just the proportional spacing, which is what I would have thought, but I mean, I guess the other thing I could do is just try to use a character that's just uniform. So instead of doing well, I guess there's that. Oh no, space is still very. Is there a character that seems very even? Maybe the @ symbol seems kind of. What has like the most even vertical to horizontal ratio? Better, but still not quite right. Better though. Big fan, but don't really know what you do. Explain. Well, right now, so usually I work on games. That's the big thing I do, right? I mostly just share the coding. Sometimes I do art and music though. Rarely nowadays. Today though, we've been working on a long-term project. It wasn't supposed to be a long-term project. It's meant to be a short-term project, but it morphed into that. It's a flying game, and that's almost done, and that's made in Unity. Today, though, we're working on this ASCII. I started working on this ASCII game engine that's going to do rendering in the terminal. So no graphics APIs, nothing like that directly. It's just going to be chucking pixels to your terminal. And we have like this simple test just of showing, hey, how does it look like to render a bitmap image to the screen? and it works pretty well so far. But we're trying to fine tune it a bit better, have it be less squashed ideally, so have all the characters be evenly spaced, figure out how we're going to do the lighting of everything as well too. Not lighting, how we're going to do value representation. So before we had a thing, I can bring it back real quick, where we use different characters to represent value, so you can see how the characters change based off of the color intensity. But it produces it has a propensity of producing this image that's very squashed on the horizontal axis. So I want to get that fixed, because I think having the visuals at the fidelity that I want it to be at is important before I can move on to implementing the rest of it. I mean, I can still implement the rest of the stuff, but I think having that done is going to be very important for what kind of visuals I design for the game. So yeah, hopefully that explains. There are ways to scale the width of characters, I feel like, before you start printing anything with init. What's going on? It's char 220. What's char 220? End of line. Which page code are you using? What do you mean page code? I'm not gonna lie, I'm using utilities I wrote a while ago, so try 033-850-50T. 850-50T. Okay, let's try that. Here we go. I'm gonna do this at the very end. Oh. So it's evenly spaced, but we lose the color, which is unfortunate. Well, I'm not going to worry too much about it, because once we do the ray, so when we do the actual ray tests, it's going to kind of fix the if we adjust for the position of the rays relative to like this vertical to horizontal aspect ratio for each individual character, we can get something that actually it'll look consistent. Yeah. Let me try one more thing too. Let me change this to 48, and let me, instead of using final, let me do space. Also, I'm going to get rid of this real quick because I want to test out the colors. Actually, let's just test this out with... Okay. Let's see here. Why was it M? That's a bit weird. Let me try this out. Oh, it's because of printing this out too. Hey, Kate, your idea works of using I mean, it looks great. It almost kind of defeats the purpose of using ASCII, but at the same time, it actually looks good though. It actually looks good. Let me try, let me do restore the smaller font. Yeah, so we definitely get a bit more, yeah, it's still gonna be kind of limited though. Well, I'm using a CRT as well. I imagine a modern monitor is gonna work better. Like an actual 20. Actually, let me try this out on my normal monitor. Let me move this to monitor number, I don't know, 2, and run it. Yep. I mean, you still have the issue of like a 32 by 32 character taking up about 10% of the screen, but it's definitely better, more manageable. Just have that squashing though. We can see of it, yeah. It's not fully there, visible, but it's there. What is this music? I want more of the chill stuff. This is what I wanted. This is what I want. There we go. Mint. If you make it green scale, it'll still have the terminal charm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to emphasize the fact that this is ASCII. That's the big thing. But it's cool that that actually works that well. I have to think about this. Like, from a design perspective. If this is going to be the limitation of the fidelity, which I wasn't expecting much, right? We're not using a graphics API or anything. We're not doing geometry-based rendering, right? So, of course, there's going to be limitations you run against. So I need to think about how we're going to utilize this to the best of its ability. Like, what resolution would work well? Okay, I need to get this thing squared out, though. The uneven grid is killing me. I need to do something about that. Before you print anything? Okay, yeah, let me do that real quick. Before I do anything. Let's do, I don't know, final again. Alright, 1 second. I'm gonna give it a try, Joach. Or Joa. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, actually. Forgive me. Feel free to correct me as well. So before any of this stuff, so like right here you said, and I believe it was like what, 51T or something like that. Let me see. Or no, 50T. 50T, and it starts with 8 as well. 8, 50, 50T. Okay. Oh. I've done something wrong, apparently. Have I done something wrong? We're using final, but let's use something like... Yeah, that's looking kind of gnarly. It seems like I've done something wrong though. Did I put it in the wrong place? Probably. Huh. Or you disable the cursor and stuff at the top. Oh, okay. In fact, let me just go like this. So call once. It seems like that's what you're saying. Did I do M as well? Still not quite. I mean, it's not broken though. I kind of like the circle rendering. Actually, maybe circle's not the best. It actually looks pretty even. But I can't tell if it's from that or the space or the circle character. Let's use something that's disproportionately size, like I. Yeah, no. Still not quite evenly scaled. No M. Joaquin? Oh, okay. Joaquin it is. Joaquin. Instead of O. That should print squares. I was looking for something to print, to just print characters evenly, even if they're uneven characters. The squares thing, it feels like cheating. I still want to have normal text. What's going on here? Do I have to actually... Am I tripping? I'm pretty sure that's not what you use. I think it's supposed to... Is it forward dash or... No, it's back dash. Can I just pass in the digit directly? Oh, what is... Okay, that's... I'm done. That's not working. I need to do... I think I'm doing this wrong. What do I need to do? Oh, wait. I'm done. I think I have to do this. Do I need to do background as well? That seems like the case. Let's change this to 48. Okay. That needs something, but... Huh. Quotes. Oh yeah, we're good. About -6, just found out about... What is that? It's worth looking into. Let's check it out. %6. What does that do? Okay, that's a part. Why is that what it... Why is that what's... Why is that what it does? Congrats. Oh, it's a one I've had for a while. Let's make it rain. I just don't bring it out as much. I need to. 0.33%6. Then you just look it up on the ANSI escape code wiki. It seems to be the most robust resource we have. It's number 6. 6. It's not popping up. That's weird. Did I type in that right? 220. Oh well. Yep. And I can't think of anything that's gonna not waste space. Or you know what? I guess I can do. Because now we're printing out each character directly, right? What I could do is I could change this to be, instead of a char that we take in, we instead make it be a character. And make this be a S instead. Change it to value. And then I can like pass in additional stuff. I don't know. Perhaps this is gonna be dumb. I mean, it kind of works, but it's also kind of bad. Brother. Oh, brother. That's hilarious. No, that's not where I'm going to modify it. Oh, I actually need to modify it here. I'm going to do that. That looks the most proportionately correct. But also, I mean, it looks the most proportionally correct. Man, those are chunky pixels, dude. Those are chunky pixels. Oh, brother. What are we to do? I was going techno mask. -3 = 3H instead of my init sequence. Oh, like replace the init thing with that? I'll try it out. We're just learning right now. So I'm gonna use that, and then I'm gonna go back to here, and this is the init sequence you provided. So you want to replace this instead with what was it? Equals 3H. I'm assuming no M. Oh, what? Okay, okay. So it's not doing the even. Is it doing the even spacing? I can't tell. It doesn't look even. But we also have the background cells being painted. So to see this effect truly on display, I'd have to do 38. Let me make sure I'm also using that function at the top. Yeah, disable spacing. Maybe I should do it every, like, do I have to do it on every single one, maybe, potentially? Equals 3H. Or actually, let me just do the M, in case that's the thing that's messing everything up. Okay. Let's do that. Nope. Bad times. Okay. No M at the end. Okay, no M at the end. And disable the double spacing if you have that still in there. Yeah, I don't know how to disable the double spacing. Oh, what's going on, Motivational Life? Good to see you. Today's task, we're just getting pictures rendered in ASCII, and then I'm going to start implementing the stuff. Dat, what's going on, Cozy Family Lounge? How long have you been typing, bro, and what did you do to get so fast besides practice? No classes. You just grind some monkey typing, or keyboard. That's what I grinded. And that helped a bunch with getting my typing speed up to an acceptable place. Okay. So there's a lot of this questions about what we're going to work with here. It'll be kind of so cool to see a platformer based off of this and like have like a... What resolution are we going to have to do each sprite though? Because this is like a 32 by 32 bit image. Or pixel image. Clearly that's not going to fly. So I'm going to have like small character sprites. Dude, like this is probably worse than NES level, honestly, as far as how many pixels we have per screen. At least on my monitor. On an HD monitor, it'll be fine. I imagine this is going to be much more smaller on other ones. So it'll actually be fine. Yeah, like if I do... Can I modify this in real time? Yeah, I can actually. Okay. So if I go back to what we were doing before and did like 48, and we instead did like a double space, which produced the most even result, but... And then we change... Yeah, this still takes up a significant amount of space. Very significant. Yep. If you're going to do an ASCII game, real estate's going to be very tight. Though again, I think when we do the render, it's going to be actually not as bad. Okay, so let's talk about the actual implementation details here. I know I have some basic stuff here, like request. Yeah, so let me actually make sure I have my understanding of what the pipeline is actually going to look like. There's a reason, I thought through this, and I guess I didn't write it down as explicit as I would have wanted. But I think, oh, we actually put stuff in here, so we're good actually. And yeah, this conceptual transform is going to contain a pointer to the shader data. You can think about this essentially like the uniforms. So whatever entity owns this transform will provide the uniform data that is going to be required by the shader. If this even is going to be doing any kind of rendering, we can have transforms that exist just for collision, right? The idea though is that we're going to have this one thing that's going to have everything required for both like collision rendering and just like positional information, right? Usually in game engines, you have a one-to-one relationship between your transform and whatever script you're working with, right? Like a player entity or whatever. Here, that's not the case. You can have a player and it can just arbitrarily request as many transforms as it wants and set up how they're going to be rendered and everything. I think that's super, like, there's a lot of times where I want that to just be the case and not have to go through the whole rigmarole of like manually constructing the game object with the renderer and all this stuff. So instead we're having it be like that. So that's where it leads us to our first place of just requesting a transform. I'm not sure if I like this terminology, transform. I'm not sure what else to describe it though. Like there's, like what alternates exist for this type of thing? Because it contains some information that's stored in transforms, but then it's also containing shader uniform stuff, right? So I don't know, like I've thought about like it's not an entity because we have a specific idea for that, or maybe it is. Maybe this will be just an entity, a general entity, and then we have like a named entities, right? That actually have, or agents or something. What are we working on? I'm working on a ASCII game engine, and we got some basic rendering happening. And now I'm thinking about the underlying infrastructure for this engine. So, yeah. So this thing is different. It's not a surface. I thought about calling it a surface, because surface kind of implies stuff, right? Like surface has visual information. It also has collision information. This is going to grow though, because there's probably going to be a tagging system we're going to have for objects. Command queue. I'm not sure that's going to be really applicable here. I think it makes more sense for like a command stack. For like something that's going to be relying on undo redo operations. But I think the transforms are not really, the order is not as important. Though there's nothing we're going to have to deal with later on, but we'll deal with that later. But I like that though. Commands, it's kind of like used for commands. Like issues, you can issue commands to it. Object, like that's gonna be. Actually, we could. Object's not a reserved word in C#, right? So, or not C#, in C. So, like, I could just make this an object. That's all it is an object. And that kind of covers all the bases there. An object is just a thing that exists. An entity is like a thing that has volition. That's kind of how I'm going to distinguish between them. Yes. Oh, I did the whole confirm thing. Yeah, I think this works for me, actually. I like this more. It's def not, but it's curse. That's the fun part, though. We can do curse things. We're in C-land. I have control. How many times can you do object class or structure or whatever? Yeah, it's like game development. It's in C. We're programming in C right now, which is a great time. I love, dude. My mental health skyrockets when I'm working in C. When I go back to Unity land, it's like funny how that works. But you know what? Like, I think if I had to work professionally with C, or not even professionally, if I had to work with other people's C code, then my mental health would just like my enjoyment of programming is gonna dive real quickly. But the fact that I'm working in C with like minimal dependencies and largely within my structure, it's like great, dude. I feel happy. Okay, so we have I think we're gonna do axis aligned transforms for this project. I think that's suitable for what we're gonna be doing. I think at some point I'm gonna yoink the logic for this, and then we're gonna rework it to use an actual transformation matrix, so we can actually do local space. We can have like different orientations, and then do tests against that. But for here, we're gonna do super simple, rudimentary raycasts, which is just like basically A, B, B, and then like, well, first of all, we have this request object, right? And it returns an int. We iterate through max transforms, find the one that's reserved. 0. I'm pretty sure if it's int, we can just do whatever. Return I, otherwise -1. That means something has failed and gone wrong. And then, cool, a player, an object now has an object, right? The entity has an object at its disposal and it can do stuff with it. Now, the object exists in the world. Well, it's being pulled from reservation, right? So there should be a thing for setting shader data as well as it's such a weird thing because I'm gonna do the type prepending thing where we have like void object and then it's essentially kind of acting like a function field. In fact, you're never gonna set a shader without setting its data as well. So we're gonna have like a massive enum, maybe not massive, but enum for shader types, right? Yeah, shader programs. It's e shader programs. And then a void pointer. Data. This doesn't look right. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, yeah, because we're doing an array of objects or struct of arrays. So it's gonna be shader data and is reserved. I don't like my naming for this. I think we're actually just gonna have uppercase stuff for public fields, and then things that are implementation details will make it undercase. Apparently there's like a whole debacle with Zig because people wanting private fields and whatnot. We should probably make like an object ID struct and wrap it int or something. I don't know. That way it's clear what your index is. I know in another project I was having this issue where that was becoming a thing where I just had these ints and I wasn't sure what they're indexing into. But if I have like an object ticket or something, then or object reference or whatever, then like it would make sense. What is it called? Shader data. Do I not have a thing for the shader as well? Yeah, you're gonna have a thing for shader. Just shader and its data. Beautiful. So that's all there is to it. Do I have to prepend enum to this? I can't remember. Lovesy, yeah, dude. Bro, don't you use Instagram? I do have Instagram. Keep going every day. It's a desire. It's I like this stuff. I think well, it's not necessarily just about the stuff. It's also there's ideas, you know, that I want to communicate and I want to express, and this is the vehicle to do it. And I like the path of getting to there. So I see the goal and I see the possibilities, and that's enough to propel me to just keep grinding, man. And I do have Instagram. It's Cozy Cabin Games on Instagram, so I post some stuff there if you guys want to follow on Insta. Or on X or Blue Sky or whatever. I don't post on those sites very much, except for Instagram. But I don't know, maybe I should post on those things. I love a raw nature of C. As an artist designer, it's cool to watch you make an engine like this. Yeah, and it's cool because it's so much more expressive. When you work with these other languages or ecosystems, there's already abstractions that have been made for you that you're kind of pushed to use. Either because that's the environment you're working in and that's what's been adopted, or there's just things that are hard-coded into the engine, right? Or tool that you're using. And sometimes I try to fight it. Like in Unity, I'm not using Unity's rendering or lighting system at all. I have my own pipeline for rendering lighting, and I think just that alone makes the games feel and look different because they have these odd quirks that you won't get normally from just using the out-the-box lighting system, right? I think that's like especially apparent with Messy Mansion, but or Stain World Prototype, that demo on Newgrounds. But at the end of the day, though, right, you still deal with friction because you're conforming to what they've designed for you. So it's fun when you get the opportunity to go into your own like engine and just design things the way you want it to be designed and unorthodox, but a lot of times or sometimes very simple way. Or sometimes it's not even the correct way, but you get to explore it and you learn from it. And that's how you get better at software development, is by making mistakes, right? I know my version of the engine in C++, I was there's a bunch of dumb stuff that I did there that I'd have to refactor whenever I do go back to it. Or maybe I'll just yoink this and just slap a graphics API to it and make it more modern, but yeah, there's a fun thing about exploring possibilities and architecting things directly for what you have in mind for your game. And then I think that's extra fun at this level when I'm not even using an IDE. I'm just using raw Vim and GCC. There's something so much more fun about this in a weird way. With IDEs, you have this thing where like you get used to the autocomplete, you get used to the suggestions, you get used to all this stuff that kind of separates you from the code, right? Whereas with this, like when you're using just a raw text editor, no IntelliSense, none of that stuff, you end up developing this like super close, tight-knit knowledge of your code base. because you need it, right? So you start knowing what things are called, and you know where to look for if you don't know it. Instead of relying on these tools to produce information for you, you just go direct to the source and inspect it. Not that you can't do that in other language or with other tools and IDs, but that's like the only way to do it here. So it's this weird thing where I start having this much more closer relationship with the code base. And it feels much more, I don't know, I like it a lot. It's very fun. A day you get to use a void pointer is a good day. I love using void pointers. Void pointers, function pointers, they're beautiful, dude. Like with those two things, I can kind of recreate a lot of the structures that exist elsewhere that I actually kind of like, but in a much more simpler and lean way. Yeah, exactly, Connor. Any tips for someone who is keen to learn but easily overwhelmed and stuck into tutorial hell? Yeah, don't do tutorials for the sake of doing tutorials. Have a vision for what you want to make. If you have a game, have a vision for that, man. Or whatever it is, right? And then, if you have that vision, that goal that's going to be guiding you, any learning material you consume isn't just for the sake of learning. It's a stepping stone towards your goal. And there's something much more, I don't know, fun about that, because you're building up momentum as you get closer to your goal and as you learn stuff. And then you stop relying on those tutorials because you eventually get to a point where you've learned enough to do the things you need to do, or at least, jank it. And if you reach your goal, or if you don't, it doesn't matter because you started learning how to build a path towards it. And the next time you start making another game or another, once you set another goal and start working towards it, it's going to be a better process. Or you're going to go, hey, I took this path to get there. What if I try this other path, right? Or, in my experience, it starts reinforcing you. As you start taking the similar path over and over again, you start getting reinforced. You get some insights, but you start refining it. So set goals. Learn with purpose. And don't be scared to abandon goals and reiterate or explore different options. That's how you build intuition, and from intuition, that's how you get wisdom. And from wisdom, hopefully good decisions, right? Request object set shader. But yeah, failure is like the most important thing. That's how you learn. I miss when RAM and GPUs didn't cost $1K. I saw a $1,400 hard drive in my local computer shop. That's crazy. Yeah, it's sad that gaming is turning into this luxury hobby. It's insane. On the other hand, though, I'm like, imagine the day people have to game on like super lean hardware, and we go back to the days of hand optimizing games to work on super weak machines. In a weird way, it's gonna bring, like, if that ever happens, it'll be kind of cool to see some hardcore programmers get born for that. Made in response to that. Request object. Actually, that's kind of the idea here. So I haven't talked about it on this stream that much, but there's like I eventually want to make a limited run, like, cozy console. Super lean stuff, but just something that's much more just kind of a novelty. But it'll be cool to have a few of my games run on that console. And so that's kind of part of the motivation of writing my own engine as well, because it's like, all right, I'm going to have way more control, and it's going to probably be way easier to migrate it onto that custom hardware. Or at the very least, I actually can make changes to the source code to make it work on that device. But that's a further in the future thing. I need to finish some games first before I do that. But yeah, like I know no Unity game I make is gonna go on there. Oh man. So where were we at? So you have we request an object. Now we have a way of setting the shader for the object. Very cool. Next, we have to do, I want to have a ray cast test so that eventually when the camera renders on screen, we can just test to see what object we hit. We're going to have like, so there's different ways of going about it. I think this dumbest solution I'm going to do is iterate through all the objects and test their if there's an intersection with that ray, and if so, what depth it is, and then at the very end we're going to choose the one with the shortest depth and return that index. So you should probably document this. That's the thing, like these, even though it's an int, I counter wrap these ints in structs, because then looking at the function signature, I can check, like if int, I don't know what this is returning an int for. Is it a success or not success thing? Or is it the index of the object we hit? I don't know, right? But if I were to say, do like a type def struct, call it, I don't know, object reference, and just have it wrap a simple int. Then yeah, like at an API level, you know what this returns, an object reference. Now, does it make it more verbose? Yeah, but it reduces ambiguity, right? Because now it goes from being like some kind of, what kind of int is it? You know, to, oh, I know exactly what this is. So wrapping, I actually am not opposed to wrapping ints into like structs like that. It's either that or maybe use like a define or something, but I don't know. I wanted to learn how to code things seen in retro demo scene. Was looking at Starfield effect and asked DeepSeek for HTML web GPU, but couldn't follow the maths. Yeah, you're kind of jumping into the deep end pretty quick. Like you're jumping directly to web GPU and all that stuff. Controversial take. I don't think using AI is probably the best way of learning stuff. But that being said, if you want to learn graphic stuff, I think a good place to start, because you're going to get overwhelmed with a lot of things, right? I think the simplest thing you want to do to start learning how to do graphics programming is like use an off-the-shelf engine like Unity or Unreal. I would personally advise using Unity because I like HLSL. And then try to write shaders for objects there. Shaders are very simple programs. They're simple code that you're going to be writing. And specifically, you're going to be writing fragment shaders. Or vertex shaders. Probably both. But just Google that. How to write a shader in Unity. And you'll be surprised about the possibilities that open up from that, right? And because that's how it was for me. Like, I didn't jump straight to working with, like, you know, C or C++, OpenGL or Vulkan or whatever. I started by just doing shaders in Unity. And you'll be surprised how a lot of that stuff can still transfer over, or does transfer over, because shaders aren't that fundamentally different as far as what they're doing. As I am currently training models, but my area is powered by nuclear and I'm not drinking lakes. That's a good consideration, at least. For this model, I'm training for my work and I'm running into issues. It's old-fashioned analytical ML, thankfully. Okay. And to int instead of using a struct. You can type def the reference. Ooh, interesting. Oh, that too, Kate. Yeah, but I mean, like the demo scene stuff is like super graphics heavy, which is why I kind of point to just using, heck, even like Shader Lab or Shader Toys or whatever would be a good way to start understanding how graphic stuff works. But yeah, if you're just trying to get learning how to just do simple computation and programming, you always go that route too. There's a lot of ways to crack it. So you said type def. You can type def the reference directly into an instead of using a struct. So I can just do type def int and then object reference, and then that just works. If so, that's gonna be freaking awesome. I guess I have to use a semicolon though, or yeah, semicolon at the very end. That's like so much better, dude. That should work. Oh my god. Thank you, Kate. I'm not sure how's the proper way of doing it, but A. The way I'm doing stuff is super cursed here too. That's alright. We don't even need a direction for this, like I guess if you want to have like some kind of projection for the camera, that actually might be a consideration. In which case it wouldn't be crazy, but it would be a less direct, simple solution. We can do an orthographic thing first. I don't think we're really going to be doing perspective stuff, or very minor perspective stuff, but we'll just pretend we're orthographic for right now and then deal with this later. And if it was orthographic, we could just do an ABB collision check with position. Maybe other position and scale as well, marked here. So that just works out. Also, max transforms, no. Yeah, we have to fix that. There we go. Cool. So now it should be max objects. Perfect. And then what am I doing? What's going on here? What's up, bro? What's going on, Andrew? Oh, it's 216. Curse C, yep. C isn't a sequel to B, it just stands for curse. Little secret. You really hope trying to start making competitive hardware? Yeah. Or we could just hope that the AI craze just dies down. It's crazy, like there's always ways with different things that just kind of cripple the GPU market. Well, actually, nowadays it's way more than that, right? It's everything. It all started with cryptos and NFTs. Remember when NFTs were like the worst of our worries? Objects opposition I, okay. So I can just do object reference, right? Closest object, and then here's a float 3 hit point. Do I need to use struct before this? I always kind of forget when I have to actually say struct when it comes to any of this stuff. Oh, there's a name convolution here. Why did I make things lowercase? I distinctly not like that this is lower. You know what? Actually, I can. It's a value type thing. I don't want to have to type shift every time I have to do X. Yeah. So you have to calculate extents as well. And we have scale, so I'm assuming we're gonna have an object that's like from -1 to 1 on every single side, and then it's multiplied by scale, right? So the extents is actually gonna be just size scale directly. Okay, so far that makes sense. Max. Okay. Cool. So now we can do our query of like if our position is greater than or equal to xmin. So if there's a collision, then we check to see if we also have this. We have the hit point here, so we can actually just check the Z position on that. We're doing super simple stuff for this game, so axially aligned. No rotation of the camera, none of that stuff. We can scale complexity from here, but we're gonna start super simple. If hit point.z is greater than o.pause.z, you probably can like fuse these together. Then we do and hit point equals, actually not positioning, o.pause, and I think that covers about everything for that. So yeah, we can just concatenate those bad boys together. Get rid of this. Eliminate another layer of indentation. Beautiful. Splendid even. Let's see here. What's going on here? You should do a define for invalid objects. That's -1. Oh, like, what do you mean? Like just invalid and have it be, -1? Oh, you're actually using plain C and not C++? Yep. I haven't seen a struct declaration on an assignment in ages. Yep. It's fun. I have actually a few projects in C++, but I don't know, man. C's just calling me, dude. _knit. C just calls me. It beckons me. Yeah, there's some niceties of C++, but come on. You can't top the rawness of this. The return to monkey type feel. It's great. Well, it's gonna be great until I actually include this into the main compilation unit, and then it's gonna throw, because it's not gonna GCC is gonna be very angry with me because I'm doing the have a bajillion different errors here, I imagine. That's alright. We'll live. I always forget the function type, function pointer syntax. It always gets me. Okay, so we have a simple function that's going to do our array test. I should probably make like a unit test assertion thing for C, like utilities, so I can like write tests and check each one of these things, but whatever. We're just going to write it and then test it. And if something goes wrong, we'll just figure out what billion different things I wrote is causing the issue. That's what GDB's for, right? That's what GDB's for. So I actually don't like this object reference thing. Actually, you know what? No, this works. Because if we hit nothing, it's going to be -1. And if we do hit something, then it's going to be not -1, right? So I think this actually works. I don't have to do the whole return boolean and then modify or mutate a reference that's passed into the function. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do this. A nice side effects of using int for a reference. Okay, so we have our object stuff going. And I guess sweet. Like that's one thing down. This is not enough though. Right, and this is where we're at last time. It's not enough that we have like shader data that's passed in, like that's uniform data conceptually. We need to have something that's specifically also standard data that's gonna be calculated. For example, the UV of the area we just hit, so we know how to sample our texture. Type. What is going on? Type pointer name args. That's why using is so nice, but that doesn't exist in C. Interesting. Yeah, that's the. I mean, that's what we have up here, right? This line right here is the fragment function signature. It's just that I forget it, and I have to go to other projects to remember how it's done. It's like not. I guess it is kind of. I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of finicky with type def in general, especially going between like C#, which is like my day job, and then this. Like I there's a lot of type def stuff I lose, or a lot of C stuff I lose when I take little breaks from this. But right, yeah, there's like a standard thing that needs to be defined for all of this. I guess we can call it like fragment in. It's like a V2F essentially is what we're making, kind of. But it's going to contain a float 2 called UV. We're going to have to calculate that from with our collision test, but that's okay. And that's going to have to be something that we actually mutate out. So yeah. I think I have to do struct before that as well. C does no initialization, does no initialize a struct if you write struct foo. You have to add =0 to initialize all fields at 0. Yeah, I've ran across that before. I've actually run across some weird stuff with that as well. Like you pass in a. I've done the thing where I have a function that creates a struct, but I create it on the stack. And it returns a pointer of it, and I initialize it. But then the function returns that stack frame is cleared, so the pointer exists, but it's pointing to junk. Well, it's not pointing to junk data sometimes. That's the tricky part, right? Actually, no, it is junk data. But there's some times where it doesn't seem like it. I actually had to write a note about that once I learned. I was like, okay, we don't do that. We only do that if it's like heap allocated. Yeah, I actually like that syntax. I actually use that syntax in my C++ projects too for struct initializations. It's very handy. I mean, there's reasons for doing that, mainly memory managers, also malware, I guess. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, that's not my intention. Yeah. Speaking of which, there's some like memory management stuff I want to explore at some point. Yeah, malware would love that, actually. Right, Kate? So what is our fragment in? Like, is that all we need? Is just the UV? I guess so. Like, that's not a crazy thing to calculate. But that means it's another thing we have to pass in. So now we have a array hit. Oh, what? Did I make a struct called array hit? Good, because that's not going to be a thing. I'm not making a struct just for the array hit things. We're not doing that. No, you're going to be... I thought about this though, so that's good. Yeah, I might want to include some other information eventually, but for now this is fine. It's weird because we're not doing like any vertex stuff. This is all geometrically, like mathematically computed. We're not using any geometry for this, so. So given we get to the end. Oh, we didn't finish this, did we? We return closest object. That's for sure. Gosh, you know what? Maybe I should make a array hit thing. It's either that or we mutate a bunch of data that's passed in. That's kind of our options, right? Either return an object that actually contains a bunch of information, like the computed UV. We have the hit point here. It would be kind of dumb to not expose that either. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll just do that. And yeah, I'm not gonna have a whole fragment. You know, if we add stuff in the future, maybe. It's not the end of the world for a factor that. I don't know, if I want to have something that we pass in explicitly. I guess we could just pass in a float too. That's all that's needed, really. Yeah, I guess I could just be. We don't have to be a nerd, we can just... Like, I eventually, maybe it might be worth having a struct for that. But I think we only need UV for what I intend to do here. So with an array hit, we're gonna have, instead of doing this, we're gonna do our, in fact, I'm gonna move all this up here, our type defs. So we're gonna do array hit struct. The point of the collision. Heck, we can't even use that because we have to also, because that's a center. That's not the hit position. The hit position is going to be plus extent. We have to do that. Oh, Valgrind is Go. Oh yeah, that's a thing too, Valgrind. Usually it's like integrated into my CLion IDE, but I have to figure out how to use Valgrind independently. GDB's been carrying me so far though. It's kept me sane. We've learned many things using GDB. So many ways, so many skill issues have been pointed out about me through GDB. Okay, so we have this array hit thing, and then finally we have to do the calculation for the UV. In fact, I'm just going to calculate it once we're going to calculate it for every single hit. Maybe it's better we just save the calculation for the end. Having learned it, it's more complicated than Valgrind. Is it really? I actually like GDB a lot. It didn't seem that crazy. I think the only thing that's really crazy that I've ever encountered is like the memory options for GDB. Because you can have it... there's a nasty bug. The bug where we had a dangling pointer, right? Because I was pointing to something on the stack that got deallocated or got freed. Or got popped. That's actually a better way. But it was weird because it didn't work on the build, but when it ran it in GDB, it was perfectly fine. And it's because GDB had a special secret sauce hidden option where they kind of clean up memory or prep memory in a very specific way, which prevented the bug from happening. But if you disable that, the bug popped up, and I was like, oh, I see where in memory we're causing this issue. Beautiful. Alright, I'm going to hit the hay. It's been fun watching the things come together. I'll catch you later, Cozy. You have a good one, Connor. Thanks for popping in, man. And hope to see you next time, and hope you rest well. Valorant is just exciting a bit in GDB. There are commands and stuff that you have to know. Valorant is just exciting it a bit in GDP. Are you saying it's exciting? Valorant's exciting? Night, Kate. You have a good one. Or unless you're saying goodbye to Connor. I guess it's not important, but it feels important to me. I think I should actually probably have a cache of like this information. So hit point is not like there is a hit point, but this is not it. What am I listening to? What is this? The chair mix. Is this the chair mix? I don't want the chair mix. I want to just I want the chill. The floating chair. I'm getting chaired every single time. Alright, it's getting close to 3 though. I should probably go to sleep before work. Oh, it's so exciting though, man. I don't want to stop. We're not stopping. I was going to Senkai. Hello, what is today? C? Yeah, we're doing some C work today. I'm having a great time in C. Not me. I had a similar issue in a sense. Kimu will optimize x86 instructions when running on Apple Silicon, but what ended up happening is it will optimize features out of existence. Or more that they didn't behave correctly. That's hilarious. It was optimizing threads to run into strict blocks instead of switching between threads, so everything would run sequentially in the scheduler. I felt the pain that fun with C comment, huh? No, it's no pain actually. I actually very much enjoy C. Like I actually enjoy working in C much more than C# or another language. It's I guess it's different things, right? But I find myself having some rose tinted glasses with this. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I enjoy it though. Yeah, so we actually have hit I don't know how to distinguish between like a candidate versus the actual current object. I guess that works. Cool. At the very end, we're going to do the whole... I guess you have to do a thing of if there was a hit too. I don't know, is hit? Was hit? Like, what's a good field for this? More than any other language. I also enjoy C more than any other language, but industry built on C++ though. Pity. Yeah. Or in my case, industry built on C#. Though it's fun. I've been having fun forcing C# to write to PC code. I've been doing a lot of unmanaged, unsafe stuff, which has been a fun excuse to do this stuff at work, but I'm close to wrapping up a project and I'm going to be back into C# land and deal with the application stuff like that. That it's simple and that it's total freedom. Yeah, exactly. I haven't really tried C++ because I haven't felt the need. C has everything I need. Exactly, dog. Like, you don't need all this other stuff, dude. It's like, sigh, too much manual work, or when randomly we get seg faults, is function overloading. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, there's things about C++ that are kind of nice, like niceties, right? There's operator overloading. That's pretty cool. Function overloading. I can see the desire for that. I've kind of encountered that a bunch. Namespacing can kind of be a thing that pops up in C from time to time. If you're in your own project, it's not as big of a deal. For me, it's not as big of a deal. But that's still a thing to be mindful of. But at the same time, it's like the way I design stuff in C, I can kind of sidestep a lot of those rough points. Operator overloading, you can't really. You can't. It's not really. There's no simple solution for that. But it's fine. It's not the end of the world. Hey, morning, Tamirka. Hope you're doing well this morning. It's 2:46 for me right now. Yeesh. Yeesh. I moved my batch sizes too high. It seems to have crashed my audio driver. It's all good. Jeez, you're dealing with some stuff. Okay, so this returns a array hit. This doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm coming back from C#. I forgot how to populate a struct with information, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I could just do this. something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while. Well, new, yeah. New is a very relative term. I just want to after a while, but I always keep it on the back side because it's not it's an acquired taste for many people. But I like treating myself with this keyboard. Though today's not a treat. It was because things went bad on stream earlier. My system wouldn't recognize my keyboard, and I tried plugging this one in to see if it fixed it, and it didn't. So I ended up having to reboot and start stream again. And at that point, I was like, alright, we already have the Battleship out. We're not going to do Unity stuff today. We're just going to work on the engine. But as far as what I'm working on this like ASCII rendered engine thing. So like we had this whole endeavor of getting an image rendered in terminal without any kind of graphics if you have anything. We're just printing directly to the terminal, right? And yeah, that's a whole thing. Still not quite up to where I want it to be, but it works. And now I'm actually building out the infrastructure for like having the camera, having objects, having them have shader properties or shaders, and the concept of shader data, which is kind of like uniforms, as well as like fragment information. And now we're doing the whole shooting rays into the scene and testing it. We're doing something very simple though. Like it's super duper dumb simple implementation because we're doing everything axially aligned and all the objects are oriented at like a rotation of identity, but we're starting here. We can like go crazier later. We just need to get this working. And I think for this type of game, that might be just perfectly fine too, so. So the first result is that we should have to also provide object reference. Anuska, what's going on? Hello. How are we doing today? Why is this Santa Claus? Or do you print changes each frame? No, I print every frame, so I'm pulling it. I think the game we're going to be doing is going to be real time, so I'm just going to do it like that. Though I'm enforcing like a 60 FPS frame rate, so I just kind of idle the process and split the difference. I'm glad, Dashvi. Yeah, it's fun. Seems so busy today. Oh no, we're just cracking at it, Niska. We're at the tail end of the stream because it's like 2:51 and I need to go to sleep for work. But this is so much fun, man, and there's so much to do. I think the streams from now on are going to be on work on the engine because the rest of the game is happening. The other game is happening. A lot of the work is off-stream stuff that it's not worth showing. So I think the days where I'm free to work on this, I'll just stream this or something else. Who knows? He had a Sharp ratio of like 6, which is like 3x the performance of mutual funds. So this is def overfit. Yeah. Cozy, who are you hiding in your closet? No one. Yeah, I need to go to sleep at some point. Yeah, I think we're gonna I think we're just get ready to call stream soon, guys. Let me save my progress though. I'm happy with where we're at right now. I'm sorry, what? Another Git sub repository? What are you talking about? What sub repo? Oh, the BMP stuff? No, get that out of here. That's for reference. Don't need that. Can we build still? Ooh. Okay, you can fix this later. I'll call it. We have color rendering, and what else do we have? Color rendering, and more infra. What git persh? Oh, origin main master. Wait a second. I know I've pushed before. Is it just called bird? Wait a sec. What is going on? What? Okay, what's my remotes? Oh my goodness. Why are you called that? Wait, what? Am I on a branch? I'm on master. Oh. So this is master. Oh my goodness, so it's not called main, it's master, and it's CB as the origin. Whatever. This guy, he is still typing. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Anuska, I can't help it. You push before to check the log, otherwise you might need to set the upstream again. Yeah, it was just wrong origin. You'll sing me lullabies, cozy, go to sleep, and don't check under your bed. Okay, Santa Claus, Anuska, thank you. Having this stream in the background while I work. Yeah, it feels like co-working in a weird way, Kate. With all y'all. I'm the weakest of them all, Senkai. Yeah, I have work in the morning. I have stuff to do today, too. I'm on the cusp of fixing something. So, yeah. Probably should rest. Oh, well, workout routine? Well, I'm recovering from a leg workout routine, but... Hey, there's your elbow workout routine. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another stream. It is always a pleasure to share the process of just having fun and creating stuff with y'all. I wish you guys the best in all of your endeavors. Rest well. And as always, God bless. And until next time, stay cozy. Bye-bye.